All right, so in this video, I want to tell you how to find and unlock your inner edge. There's always talk about finding your edge or your setup, and I think the emphasis is put on finding it elsewhere, outside of yourself, way out there, over the mountains. And I want to explain to you this concept of intuitional trading. It is something that we can both agree on simply by reminding ourselves of our largest trading day, the day that we extracted the most profit out of the market. And in remembering that day, you are going to find that you will unlock that inner edge that we were talking about. And I'm going to refer to it as intuitional trading. Now, I want you to think back on that day when you had your largest day, the most profit you have ever taken out of the market for the first time, right? And we've all had it. The dollar amount might have been different, but the experience was exactly the same. We had a feeling, right? Like, oh my God, and it evoked the feeling. Now, on that day, let me ask you something. Was it because of your indicator? Was it because of the Discord? Was it because you got a signal? What was the reason why that happened? Now, it might have been all of those things or none of those things. But either way, there was a signal. There was a sign. There was something that said, go. And for me, it wasn't so much a indicator or like, I'm not part of any discords or anything like that, but it was an inner knowing. It was a feeling. And I think we can agree that every time we put on a trade, we get this feeling, this feeling kind of, we connect to it, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're connecting to this energy we call the market. It is a market of intention and feeling, of a source of waves, I guess, if you will. So when you buy your position or you're short selling it, either way, when you enter the market, you get a feeling. And on that day, was your feeling like mine? Was your feeling like conviction? Like, did you feel confident in your trade? Because I know I did, right? Did you just know that this was it and it didn't matter what the RSI said or whether it was above or below the 30-day moving average? No, it was just like something that you didn't even think about. It was like effortless. It was like something took control over you. And what I've come to realize after analyzing that day and having many more similar to it after is that when you begin to listen to your own inner voice, that edge, the intuition inside of you, the gut feeling, you will be a lot more profitable. Because weren't you listening to yourself that day? And maybe if you weren't listening to yourself, you were listening to someone else that had an idea to execute on. And that is the point. Because maybe it was through someone else. Maybe you got some sort of signal or part of a Discord. But guess what? Even if you did, you were moving with intention and certainty. You weren't questioning whether or not to buy or to sell, or if that person you follow said get in and get out. You did that. You moved and you executed flawlessly from a knowing, from a sense of certainty. And that will make all the difference when you start operating from this sense of certainty, from this sense of knowing, from this sense of conviction and not fear. Because that is what happened that day. Now, the question is, if you tap into this feeling, because that's what it is, if you're able to consistently tap into this feeling, then you will start seeing consistently profitable days because you were profitable that day when you tapped in, right? Well, why don't you keep doing that? Tapping into this, what I am calling intuitional trader. Trading with your intuition, listening to your intuition, listening to that gut feeling that you have. You don't have to start with large positions. Do it with a very small, comfortable position that you can put on and just listen to the rhythm of the market. And before you put a trade on, ask yourself, not is it overbought or oversold, etc., or where's the smart money or any of those things. Ask yourself this: am I currently in tune with the market? Am I aligned with the market? Do I want what the market wants? Or am I trying to just shove my rigid system over this dynamic, fluid market? And to do this is not just me making this advice to you and then letting you kind of say, well, how do I do that? Well, it's very simple. Begin to listen and observe. Become the observer. Become the person listening. Listen to yourself. Look at the market. It will tell you a story. And then take everything else that you've kind of developed and become comfortable with and implement it in your trade and manage it and flow with the trade. Be present. When that voice in your head says to get out, take profit, but your take profit original line was set up here and you're about here, try one time to just listen to that voice, because you will see they will guide you in the right direction. And that'll be your first little test, right? Oftentimes we don't take profit because we need it just to touch that very line that we set so we can validate to ourselves that we predicted it correctly. We're starting to get this. Well, guess what? You will never get it. The market was designed to be uncertain. It is designed for uncertainty. And once you realize this, then the only thing you can be certain about is how you feel in the market, how you connect to it. I want what the market wants. And when you begin to say that to yourself, you'll realize that you have to become one with, flow from the market and not try to contain it or put a leash on it. Or like you're fishing, like, oh, we got a big one. No, you must flow with it. Get a net and let it come into that net. So to find your inner edge, you must realize that you are that inner edge. You'll never get it outside of yourself. Everything that you are looking for is already inside. But you must listen. You must pay attention. Think about this. Begin to trade intuitively. You can still use your indicators, but use those as a secondary reference point and see what it feels like to just you analyze, you make the decision. First, use your intuition. That is a leading indicator. Oftentimes you will sense something in the market before you see it. That's what I'm talking about. And something very important to do, because I don't want to just leave you here with these ideas, is control your breath as you are in trades. Be conscious of breathing. Your inhale and your exhale. Take full breaths. In between breaths, analyze what's going on. Take it in. A lot of times when we take a trade, we start shallow breathing, and we're not even thinking about breathing. And you must understand something. Breath, the oxygen that we breathe, is really and truly our consciousness. So if we are not allowing ourselves to breathe in these moments of risk, then we are doing ourselves a disservice. Let oxygen into your brain so it can process, so you can feel, so that this machine can run. And then let it all out and observe. Because the market's telling us exactly where it is, what it wants to do. But we're so busy trying to predict it and control it and wheel it in. We're not flowing from it. We're not becoming one with it. And the consistently profitable traders do so. Because you see it in all the interviews that you watch here on YouTube. It's never the strategy, because they never reveal that. It's like, why don't they ever say the strategy? Because the strategy is them. Becoming confident in that inner voice that maybe you want to classify as experience. Well, it's the experience of letting go and trusting what you see and executing on that conviction. Not when the MACD says, not when the RSI says, but when you say. The day we had our biggest trades, we just wanted what the market wanted and moved on it.